What's going on, leader? This is Quincy Jackson, your leadership coach here, and I'm thrilled that you have decided to not only help me joining you in your leadership development journey, but you have sought some kind of information that you can use to help you earn your next promotion, which is what this podcast and this YouTube channel is all about. So today what we're going to talk about, it's Monday, and you know that's all about listening. So listening is one of those fundamental skills that all leaders must possess if they want to, number one, earn a promotion in their job or company, wherever they're doing, or if they want to be more effective. So if you're an entrepreneur and you're leading your team, the best way that you can help your team, first and foremost, I believe, is to be a better listener for them. So as you see in today's title of today's video, we're going to talk about, do you actually anticipate what the speaker is going to say before they actually say it? And this is a big problem I know that I had to struggle with for many years because I was always assuming what somebody would say if I was in the middle of conversation with them before they would actually say it. And the more you do that, especially if you cut them off and don't let them finish their thought, more likely than not, you're going to miss out on critical information that can help you and will help you become a better listener for your team. So before we get into too much detail about how to not do this, we always want to make sure we define the understanding of listening so that we know how it applies to us as leaders and how we can grow in that area. So listening is an important leadership skill that enables you to acquire information, identify and clarify issues, make decisions, and resolve conflict. Listening skills also play a major role in team building. You can learn to be a better listener just by following very few simple suggestions that we're going to talk about here in this episode. Okay, but this is a very hard fact for a lot of people because listening requires you to put aside your own thoughts and inner defense systems in order to learn new ways of getting new results. So, one thing I can encourage and tell you is that whatever results you're getting right now in your life is as a result of the action you've been executing up until this point. So if you if you have been trying something for a significant period of time and it hasn't been working, you really need to measure your results accurately to make sure that you're not putting the cart before the horse, so to speak, or getting impatient and you just have to wait a little while longer to see whatever the result is come to fruition. Now, there's always a time frame that you should keep in mind as it relates to what I'm saying. So I'm not saying that you should be doing this indefinitely, but if you just started doing this yesterday, then you should see some result, but it depends on how frequently you are using this particular skill of listening to enhance your leadership ability. Okay, so listeners are usually fantastic not only at being coachable and teachable, but they also learn what they need to do in order to teach and coach others better. It's so interesting. I was thinking about this earlier as I was preparing for this episode. Thought to myself, like, what is it that makes most leaders, even their sales or their businesses, the thing that makes them get things done more effectively comes down honestly to their listening. If you are speaking and talking more than you're actually understanding and listening, then you're probably trying to solve a problem that's not even the problem to begin with. So know this: if you have anybody on your team, whether it's one other person because you're a small, very boutique style organization, or if you have 100 people, and I've been in situations where I've had 100 people on my team as associates, what happens is the less likely that you are to listen to what they need, the less likely you are to solve their problem. Okay, so if just because you're in a leadership position, that doesn't mean you have all the answers. That just means you've done something up until that point that's gotten you to that particular area that you currently reside. But if you want to grow, and I know you're watching and listening to this because you do want to grow, then you have to adjust the thought process in your mind. actually seats down, if you will, sit down and listen to that which the person is saying, so that you can know what information you need to execute accordingly to get a desired result. Okay, so how do you practice this effectively to make sure that you're not robbing yourself and your team of growth because you're not a better listener? Well, the first thing you always want to do is anytime someone's speaking to you, just give them your full and undivided attention if it's possible in that moment. Now, if you're busy, if you're running around, you're in the middle of something, postpone or at least put on your schedule a time to come back to have the conversation so that you can give them your full attention and your full and their for their conversation so that you can do what it is that you need to do for them as their leader. Okay. Now, and when you start listening to them, don't assume that what they're about to say is what they're going to say. Just listen, pay attention to the words, and let them speak more than you can more than you anticipate. So, it's been many times that I anticipated what someone has thought to say or what someone was going to say, and I was right. My anticipation was correct. But this is not an offense versus defense type of situation. The only time anticipation, in my opinion, is the most effective strategy to success is when you're on defense. The only time anticipation is an effective strategy is when you're on offense. But when you're on the team and you guys are on the same side, there is no offense versus defense. It's only, hey, we're both on offense together or we're both on defense together. But when we're sitting at the table, we're not against one another. And so that anticipation that you might have of what someone's going to say, especially if they're on your team, that anticipation creates a defense, an off versus offense scenario, and all that does is stifle growth if it all stops it altogether. Okay, so I want you to do that for me. I want you to practice when you do have conversations with people. Don't anticipate what they're going to say. Don't even assume what they're going to say. Just calmly and in a relaxing manner, sit quietly, sit stilly, give them fantastic eye contact, and just wait on them to say what it is that they are going to say. It's so interesting. I have conversations with people here and there about this subject. I tell them a little bit about what I do. Usually, I don't tell people randomly what I do and why I do it, because I want to make sure that the person is the right fit for me. And I honestly don't like to engage in not the most high value conversations. And so if I'm like at a store, a Costco, a Sam's Club, if I'm out and about, usually I am just trying to get what I need to get done so I can get back to what I need to be doing, I want to be doing as it relates to being more effective in the strategies outlined in my business and in my organization. Well, just the other day, I was actually speaking with someone that was like, "Hey, man, well, what do you do?" Because I think I was saying I got to get back home to get ready to go to sleep so I can get up early in the morning. I think I woke up that morning at like 4 o'clock. It's like, wow. It's like, what you gonna do? Play video games? I didn't get to that point. So basically, the story went like this. As I said, man, I gotta get back home. I gotta get, it's time to go. He's like, oh, you going home and play video games? I was like, no, I don't have time for video games. I'm working on launching my online business so that I can be more effective and put out my purpose into the world and what I can do. And so I start very early, and so I need to really get some rest before too much time goes by. And he was like, wow. I was like, what do you do? So that's how I got into this conversation I'm telling you about now. And what we talked about, and literally it was me just listening to him. And one of the things that he actually said is, well, don't you ever feel like leadership is not for you? And I said, absolutely not. I know that leadership is for me. Now, there was a time when I questioned whether I am a leading person, am I a person that can be a leader, but that was more so just not understanding what my talents, gifts, and uniqueness was when I was younger. But since then, I've definitely grown and elevated, which I'm sure that's why you're watching this too, because you feel the same way about yourself. But my point is that he was asking me a question because that's what he assumed about me, because that's how he felt about himself. He felt as though this is this leadership and management thing is not really meant for me, because what you have to do sometimes isn't worth it. And I gave him some feedback about that, but I could only do that after I listened to him. And I didn't try to anticipate that his thought process and his belief system was similar to mine as it relates to how we think about being leaders and developing others around us to grow as leaders. So that was just a recent example that happened. But I say that because what I didn't do was I didn't anticipate what he was going to say. He had a question for me. I had no clue that that was about to be what he said, and I'm happy and glad that I listened and waited on him to tell me what it is that he was thinking versus me telling him what I thought he was thinking and what he needed to hear. That's not at all the case. With some, in many cases, as leaders, it's necessary that we do tell people what they need to hear instead of what they want to hear. But if we don't have the information that we need we gather from them through listening, then there's no way that we can serve them in the best way that we can. So, what also is going to help you out as it relates to learning how to be a better listener is you're going to understand that the more you listen, the less you realize, or the more you realize, rather, the more you realize what you don't know. So if you're speaking and talking all the time, you're not learning unless you're talking and teaching to someone, then you may actually solidify more of the information, principles, tactics, and strategies that you are aware of. But the more you are in a listening state of mind, the more you learn, and then the more effective you can be as you're taking the approach to be more teachable and execute ideas that can obviously give you better outcome and result. So that's what I wanted to talk to you all about today as it relates to being a better listener and then using listening as one of the most effective leadership skills. It's very fundamental, but it's something that a lot of people don't spend enough time on learning. So therefore, they can't dive deeper into the other skills that we talk about on this channel, which are critical thinking and giving feedback. So that's what I wanted to talk to you all about today. It's very simple, very straight to the point. If this is the first time you've actually watched any video, and so welcome to the channel. I want to say first and foremost, kind of last, but thank you. Welcome to the channel. I would encourage you to maybe go back and watch some of the other videos that we've talked about here on the Leading Daily podcast. So you can actually click right here and go to the last video that was published. So that's one thing. If you're somebody that you know you are doing very well in the area of listening, fantastic. But if you're somebody that wants a promotion and you haven't gotten a promotion in a while and you know that's something that you want to do, there's probably a few different reasons why you haven't. And I actually created a series as well. You can actually click here and get those videos also. But those are the two things that we talk about primarily on this channel, is working with hardworking, high performing people in corporate America today that want to earn their next promotion at least in the next 3 months, no later than the next 6 months. And if you're an entrepreneur listening to this, we also talk about how you can lead your team more effectively so that you can not only teach them and help them grow, but that also grows your organization and your business. So I really hope that you enjoyed this episode. I do my best to keep these short and sweet for you. If you like this episode, you like this video, please drop a like, hit the like button. If it's something that you got from it that you enjoyed and you want to hear more about, please drop a comment and let me know what you think there. And as always, I ask, please make sure that you share this video with anybody you think would benefit from it. If somebody that you know that is working with you and they've been saying and talking about different ideas and they want to get promoted in their company, then please share this with them, and maybe you guys have a conversation about it and let me know your thoughts in the comments. I would love to continue to know what's on your mind so that I can practice my listening ability and become more effective for you. And then lastly, I would say, please go ahead and subscribe to the channel. We put out videos every single day to help you be more successful in the area of leadership, because it's such an underappreciated subject, I believe, but it's where real value is created and where a lot of money can be made. And I think that's the main point of why people want to get promoted, so that they can earn more money for themselves, for their families, and go on and do some really cool things in the process. So thank you all for paying attention. I always like to end off by saying every single day we come out with another video. So if you subscribe and turn the notification bell on, you'll be right on point with getting those as soon as we get them. But on Sunday nights, we actually do a live stream at 6 p.m., usually about 6 p.m. Mountain Time. So that's 5 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Central, and 8 p.m. Eastern. If you actually come on those live stream videos with us, we can actually have real time conversations and dialogue, so I can know in real time what it is that you're dealing with, and also provide you some insight about what's happening today in the area of leadership. Every Monday we talk about the subject of listening, so you can definitely be on the lookout for that. Tuesdays we come back with the reasons why you aren't getting promoted, so that's a fantastic episode series there. And then on Wednesday and Thursday, we come back with more leadership skills of critical thinking and giving feedback. And then Friday and Saturday, we come back with some more reasons why you aren't getting promoted. So that's just a quick rundown of the schedule for the week, so you can be aware of what's going on. But regardless of the day of the week, you can always pay close attention. We'll give you as much information as we think we can share in a short period of time. Keep it clean, keep it organized for you, and help you have a very successful leadership journey as you progress and go forward. So thank you so much for watching. I look forward to seeing you on the next video. I'm your leadership coach, Quincy Jackson, and go out and crush it today.